Hi students, in this tutorial we're gonna go ahead and actually create a new C# application. So at the top just click on file and then click on new and then click on project. So now let's actually wait a little bit here. So here, as you can see, again choose template, visual C#. This is very important that you actually choose visual C#, and then inside the visual C#, just open this visual C# by just clicking on this little triangle here and then select Windows here. And now you can actually select a classic desktop here, or you can just select Windows and then click on a console application. Just select this one, and then let's actually specify a name for our console application. So the name is going to be C#, or I can say actually printing values, and you can specify the location and the solution name. So make sure to create a directory for the solution. Okay, I'll talk more about this solution later. And then let's actually click on OK. So now it's gonna actually create the project for us. So as you can see here, our project is actually created. So in this tutorial, I want to talk about the difference between the method WriteLine and the method write. So let's see how we can actually specify that difference here. So let's go inside this main method. As you can see, we have this namespace printing values. This is the name of our project, right? And we have the class program inside this namespace printing values. So the name of the class is program. So again, I'll talk more about classes later. As you can see, we have an opening curly brace followed by a closing curly brace. This is called the body of this class, right? An opening curly brace followed by a closing curly brace, which actually specifies the starting and the ending of this class. And inside this class, we have this method which is called main, and this method main is actually the starting point of our application. If we actually delete this method, we cannot actually run our application because there is no starting point, there is no entry points here. So let me actually undo my action by just holding down the control key on my keyboard and then press on the letter Z key on my keyboard. So I have this method main, and inside the curly braces of this method main, as you can see here, we have an opening curly brace followed by a closing curly brace, which is called the body of this method. I can actually just type in here console with capital C, console dot, and I use the dot operator here in order to access the methods of this console class. So console dot write. As you can see, we have two methods. The first one is write, and the second one is the WriteLine. This time let's choose write, and then press on enter key on your keyboard, and then let's actually put a pair of parentheses here. And now inside the parentheses, I can actually just put up two double quotes here, and inside the quotes I can just say, for example, this is my C#, and now I can just end it here and put a semicolon at the end of my statement, right? So console.write, this is my C#. And here, let's run our application. So just hold the control key on your keyboard down, hold the control key down, and then press on F5 key on your keyboard. And now it's gonna actually start to run our application. So let's wait a little bit here. And as you can see, this is our application. It says this is my C# here, and it says press any key to continue. As you can see, there are no actually new lines here. This press any key to continue is not below this value. It is actually just beside this C# here. So let's actually press an enter key on our keyboard. And now let's create another console.write here. So again, console.write, and let's put a pair of parentheses here. Let's put, as you can see, I just need to put a pair of parentheses here, and inside the parentheses I just need to put two double quotes, and here I can say, so this is my C#, and here I can say application, right? Let's run our application again. Let's put a semicolon at the end of my statement. So remember, at the end of your statements you must actually put a semicolon. okay, in order to specify that your statement is actually is ended. So let's run our application again. Again, hold the control key down and then press on F5 key on your keyboard. Again, let's look at this value. It says, this is my C# application, press any key to continue. So you can see that this application is now beside this C#. What's going on here? The problem, let's actually press on enter key in order to actually end this application. So the problem is here. We are using the write method. We are not using the WriteLine method. We are using the write method. And the write method is not gonna actually create a new line for you at the end of your string value. So remember, whatever you put inside the codes is called actually a string value. So at the end of our string value, as you can see here, for example, this is my C#. It's not gonna actually create a new line if we don't actually use the WriteLine method. Here we are using the write method. And again, after this line of code here, we have this console.write, and you can see that we have the application, but again, we are not using the WriteLine method. We are using the write method. So that's why when I actually run my application, you can see that this value, press any key to continue, is actually beside this application value because the new line is not actually created here. So in order to create a new line, we should actually use WriteLine. So here, instead of write, I can just say WriteLine. Let's actually use WriteLine here instead of write. So I put this line word here after this write. Let's run our application now. Let's see what happens. So Control F5. And now we can see that it says, this is my C#, right? And in the second line, you can see that it says application. And immediately after this application, you can see this value. Press any key to continue. So again, because here, we actually used the write method instead of WriteLine. So that's why you can see this press any key to continue here after this application, not in a new line, just immediately after this application beside this word. So again, instead of write, I can actually, let me just comment out this code, this line of code. And now I can actually just type in here console, right, dot, and here I can say WriteLine. Instead of write, use WriteLine, and then put a pair of parentheses, and just put 2 double quotes, and just type in here application. And at the end of your statement, just put a semicolon. Let's run our application now. Hold Control key down, and then press on F5 key. So you can see that it says, this is my C#, a new line, application, again, another new line, press any key to continue. Done. Right? So that's how it is used. That's the difference between WriteLine and the write method. So hopefully that makes sense, and I think that's enough for this tutorial. And by the way, you can actually download the source code of this project in the resources section of this lecture, of each lecture actually. So thank you very much for watching, and if you have any questions about the concepts that I taught you in this lesson, please post a discussion in the course, and then I'll do my best to answer all of your questions. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.